Tumusime, a gentleman who you may have seen him before because he does a lot of internet-related matters. And many thanks, Michael, for making time.
Thank you very much for having me.
And of course, you work for Checkpoint software company, which really deals with mail-secured systems, if I'm not wrong. And from where we sit as a country, do you feel we've made sufficient investments in security of our internet systems?
That's a good question, but it's yes and no. We still have gaps when it comes to things like education, and not just from the technical perspective, but also from the end users. And then remember, security is not a milestone. Security is a journey. It's a cat and mouse game.
Sure.
So today you make an investment, and tomorrow the criminals go one step ahead. Yes. So it's a continuous game. It's a journey.
And Michael, I know before we started this interview, we were just having a discussion around the report you mentioned to me. And what are some of the indicators? Where are we going in terms of attacks? Are we being more proactive, or are we being reactive?
Looking at the report we're discussing, for example, if you look at ransomware is a piece of malware that an attacker has installed either on your PC, your computer, or your tablet or your phone, and takes it hostage, encrypts your files, locks your devices, and requires that you pay a ransom to get your data back. So we saw a 50% growth from H1 to H2.
On ransomware?
On ransomware alone, yes.
That's across Kenya or within Africa?
Both Kenya and across the globe.
Quite some startling statistic there in terms of what hackers have actually resorted to. And do you think we are seeing sufficient attention being given at organization levels when it comes to prevention and ensuring they have sufficient mitigation measures?
That's exactly what we preach. We preach prevention. We've seen a few cases where it has been too late, or a company has been breached, and then we go in and try to help them remediate. But the idea is to prevent, to make sure that you are ahead of these sort of attacks. We expect the prevalence to get even worse, because now what we see and what we predict for more of this year is you're going to have what we call malware as a service. So you no longer have to have any skills to be able to help be part of an attack. If you look at ransomware now, the third most prevalent ransomware we see is called cyber.
Come again?
Cyber. Now, the way cyber works is very interesting. The attacker gives you an interface. You log onto the interface, create an account, and then you send out mails or send out links or send the malware out to anybody you want to. And when they eventually run it, or the system gets to run it, their data gets encrypted. Their phones get locked, their iPads get locked, and they have to pay cyber ransomware using bitcoins, the digital currency. And the minute they successfully pay, when they get their files decrypted, you get your commission.
Wow.
So you don't have to have any skills to say you have a commission-paying job, albeit illegal.
All right. And quite shocking to hear that the level of prevalence will be at another level. Of course, now that you're seeing a lot of companies have been able to adopt ICT systems, but what is hindering companies from ensuring they go that other extra mile to ensure as we do these ICT systems and all the networks, we have a secure and convenient approach to it? That's
a very good question. You see, if you looked back 10, 15 years ago, most of your security was to have a perimeter gateway. You had a secure gate, and you inspected everything that came in and out. Now the landscape has changed. The gateway doesn't exist anymore. You have mobile users. So you have users that come in and out. The gateway doesn't hold for them anymore. You have users that you have bring your own device. Or like some people used to say, bring your own disaster. So you have those connected to your network. And like we picked up sometime last year, and if you saw 3 weeks ago, the list of tools that the CIA had when it was leaked to WikiLeaks, is one of the things that is increasingly being targeted is the Internet of Things. So in their case, they were able to hack into a Samsung TV and make recordings even when it was switched off. So now you have a network and you have all these new devices. And you have wearable devices, you have TVs on a network. And all these are different exposure points, different attack vectors for the business. We've also seen the same devices being used to attack other people. Like we saw, there was a site that was hacked, that had a distributed denial of service attack.
Yeah.
And a few sites went down. I think Netflix was one of them.
Yeah.
And that was really using IoT devices.
You actually putting me in a very awkward situation, Michael, because the more you speak, the more I get scared about the internet. And of course, right now, people are really worried about the safety of their money in their bank accounts. Because at the end of the day, a system can be hacked. How do we navigate through this issue of hacking of financial services, banks, SACCOs, I mean?
The way we look at it, the way we look at security is, one, you need to have multiple layers of security. So that way, if an attack is able to get through one layer, you can stop it at the other. One of the things that we talk about, because we see this growing quite rapidly, is protection against unknown zero-day attacks. So you must have a solution that is able to pick up unknown attacks. Because the days where you had signatures or you knew patterns of an attack and were able to protect somebody because you knew that, those days are long gone. Now there's a big focus on unknown attacks. So you need to be able to protect yourself against the unknown. And of course, the other, like I said, is you now need to look at all the other devices. You need to look at the mobile. You need to look at your tablets. You need to look at your television, your fridge, anything connected to the internet, and be able to protect it. Another important thing, because you now have the proliferation of all these devices, is segmentation. You must be able to have atomic segments and protect these segments from each other. So that in case you get attacked on one segment, you're able to isolate that from that running wild across the organization.
Interesting insights there, Michael Tumusime from Checkpoint Software Company. Just trying to break down for us some of the key trends you're seeing in the cybersecurity world and how are people able to cope. Interesting views there, talking about you need to have multiple layers of security at your workplace to ensure you're able to cushion yourself from any form of attack. And I want now to wrap up with a look at our Twitter poll. And today we're asking you, do you think mobile money has been able to improve access to financial services? And the results are quite amazing. I'm seeing 88% of you are saying yes, mobile money has been able to improve access to financial services. 5% are saying no, 7% are saying they do not know. And let's keep this conversation online and we'll be able to engage more with you. And of course, it has been a pleasure bringing you today's business show. My name is Abi Agina. Let's catch up tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be taking a closer look at the macroeconomics around the budget. And of course, on Thursday, it will be budget day. Expect extensive coverage from our team here at KTN Business.